Hello everyone, this is Professor Reha here with a SMITE tutorial on Khepri. I'll probably make this into several parts because obviously one match alone isn't going to really cover everything that any one character in this game can do, but to kind of introduce my my standing here, I've been playing this game pretty consistently since Season 2. We're currently in Season 8. So, 6+ years. I can't quite remember if they made Season 2 last a whole year or part of it. I can't quite remember the early seasons, how long they lasted. But overall, yes, I've been playing for a very long time, and although I know there is some contention that this season isn't that great, personally, this is my favorite season so far. And so I just thought I'd sit down and slap out some tutorials on a lot of the gods. I have a lot of them at Diamond for reference. Maybe we can see some of these. You can see a lot of diamonds. There was a time when I was pretty much exclusively working on diamonds. Now I'm kind of more focusing on honing my individual skills. I'm starting with Khepri specifically because, first off, he was the very first god I played when I first went into the game in Season 2. I started playing when he was released. I don't remember if it was the day he was released or a couple of days later. I don't know. I don't remember. But he was the first god I played, and some very nice people in my first match told me, you know, what my role was, what I was supposed to do, which was support, of course, with Khepri. And they were very nice, and they introduced me quite smoothly into the game. And I know that's not everyone's experience, but I also want you to know, if you haven't played this game consistently, that not everyone is abrasive in this game. And in fact, there's a lot of good people on here. But we are going to be playing a SMITE Khepri support tutorial. Now, with this season, there are ways you can make him work really well for, that's a lot of healing, for solo lane, which is fairly interesting, but that's mostly going to be a matter of your personal experience there. With animosity down there, basic attacks dealing damage to equal to 4% of your maximum health, I find that very conducive to a solo lane Khepri. I have seen him jungle, and I've seen him ADC. He's not so effective in those roles. Trying to ADC with any melee character usually doesn't work, for the obvious reason that they can't shoot, so therefore they tend to get outranged by whatever the enemy ADC is. There are some exceptions to this rule, obviously, but Khepri's not one of them. So, what we're essentially going to be... Oh, right. They're fairly aggressive about this, huh? Well, we're going to counterboard that, just that way they don't try to ambush us. They still might from this angle, but there's nothing really I can do about that. Now, you may be wondering why I picked these specific items. I picked Tainted Steel first. There is a large amount of healing on the enemy team. In fact, the only person who does not intrinsically self-heal is on her, and he's probably going to build Lifesteal. So Tainted Steel, along with either of its evolutions, is just going to work out really well overall for the future of the team, so that's why I picked that over maybe some other items that people would normally build on Khepri. Now, one thing I do want to point out with Khepri right off is two things. First off, his passive. You may notice that he's generating an HP shield if you're unfamiliar with the intricacies of Khepri. This is based upon the maximum HP of anybody it's impacting on. So, you just saw it activate there. The amount of shield that Izanami will get will be lower than the amount that Khepri gets because Khepri has a higher max HP. So when you build a Khepri, you're going to pretty consistently... That was a good counterplay by on her. You're going to want to consistently build towards HP. This serves two purposes besides increasing your health shield, which is really nice. There is also the side benefit of having the extra HP, so the very popular build of Executioner isn't quite as popular as it was a couple updates ago, but the large amounts of penetration is going to be less of a concern because you're mostly operating off of... I'm body blocking her by accident. You're mostly operating off of your HP rather than your protections. Obviously, you should still have protections. Over-relying on HP will get you killed from Chin Size or Heartseeker or other derivatives. So you don't want to over-rely on HP, but you do want to emphasize HP when you're building Khepri, more than you normally would on support. So you want to almost always be looking to increase your HP on most of the items that you're looking to build with him. So keep that in mind when you're building him. The second thing that I haven't really talked about is, obviously, because of his first ability with the pull there, he is very high risk, high reward. So you are going to want to be very careful with when you choose to go in. It's a little bit harder for Khepri to get in and out of a fight just because of, first off, his pull just forces the enemy to basically attack him in an extremely aggressive way, almost as much as a taunt, which is probably the only riskier way. My mouse went kind of wild there. So there is that also potential issue of just being so very risky as a support. So do keep that in mind. She's playing this way too aggressively considering we have a Sobek here. I don't want her pulled in. She needs to be playing this safer. Come back here. We don't want this. So those are the two things you really need to keep in mind with Khepri. He's very high risk, and you do want to emphasize that HP. He is one of my favorite supports. He remains one of my favorite supports. Can we get this Harpy, or are you going to go for... No, you're going to go for the Void, okay. So that's really... When you're building Khepri, keep that in mind. The first item that I'm going to build, I'm not sure yet if I want to do Gauntlet of Thebes. I probably won't. I'm probably going to go Stone of Gaia, because I am emphasizing that HP growth a lot. The passive of that, which heals you based on a percentage of your maximum HP, that's going to really pull through there. Now, also, you will notice that I've been having mana problems. I did not build Sentinel's Gift or War Flag, which is the cause of this. They both went back, so I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity to go back as well. Restock. We're going to go for Emerald Talisman, get some MP5 there, which is really nice, and I think we're going to grab some wards as well. We're going to go ahead and maintain the health potions, because Guan Yu's really been doing well on the right lane and getting us our mana buff from the totem. That's what that is if you're not familiar. It looks like Izanami is just going to be straight up dead here. If I can get there in time, I can prevent... No, he just ulted her. She's dead. There's absolutely nothing I can do for her right there. The problem there was less that I went back. That was a good decision for where we were at the time. They had both gone back. It was a really good time for both of us to have gone back. The fact that she didn't was mostly her choice, and it was also the reason she died. Because she stayed too long. She didn't have that much resources. I missed that. Herself. She should have gone back at that point. There was no reason not to go back, really. So that was really her just being a little bit greedy. Naja came over for that reason. She was being greedy. So that was an error on Izanami's part. I can't really blame her. We were ahead, so she wasn't necessarily in the worst position to be there, but the fact that we couldn't see Naja was a concern that she should have been looking at and thinking to herself, well, where is Naja, and should I be worried? We're going to activate a health potion here, because I am taking some decent amounts of damage. Alright, so we're going in for the... We're going to activate that. Okay. We are going to self-ult. There we go. Unfortunately for Anher, and what he did not understand in that particular moment, was that his obelisk blocks his own shots, and combined with Sobek being in such tight quarters, he wasn't really able to hit me. That was a lot of luck on my part. I came out of that very lucky. But the obelisk was actually what saved me. If he had not thrown that up, I would have been totally fine. He seems like something of an inexperienced Anher. That might just be my impression. Maybe this is his warm-up game, I don't know. But that was definitely an error, was that the misplacement of the obelisk in that situation. Again, still a lot of luck involved on that for me, though. Can we take... No. Can we take this Harpy real quick? You're just going to go back. Okay, do we want to... We're not going to take Void first? Okay. Probably should have, but, you know, Honor is going to have to go back pretty soon. We did not get the... Well, Guan Yu failed to get the totem, so I'm going to be a little bit short on MP here, but that's fine. We're going to just throw this out here. Notice that the MP5 is really pulling its weight here. I am going to go back at this point, because Anher just went back, so Izanami should not need me there. We're going to finish off the Stone of Gaia, and then we're going to grab some wards. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and switch to middle. At this particular junction, I don't believe that Izanami... Well, Izanami's a little behind, but she is now starting to stack, so she is going to want to be alone and build those stacks up, so I am going to leave her alone at this point for that specific reason. Okay, so Sobek rotated there.
If only they followed in your
And then he dies, I'm pretty sure. Nope. Chang'e healed him. Okay. Well, I almost killed him. Not really a whole lot I'm going to be able to do here, but that's okay. I'll just rely on my shield to absorb the damage. Go ahead and help the minion wave here. Vulcan just came back. I don't care, Chang'e. Warn Izanami that Sobek... Yeah, there he is. He didn't need to be there. The Yonher's got a little bit of an advantage at this point. But in all honesty, if I go over there, I'll just hold her back more. She really does need to be solo farming at this point, considering her build. The Honor is not stacking, so Sobek can better afford to be over there. But right now, she doesn't need me over there. She should just be focusing on farming. I don't know if she engaged in that fight or if she, was forced into it. I don't know. I think we can do something over here. Looks like she's going to get on her. Can we get Sobek in exchange here? Excellent. All right. Okay, I let him slip by. That was my mistake. And we get Naja. Yep. Okay, good. That was good. Now, the reason why I ulted Vulcan there, that should be fairly obvious in case Naja killed him, but Naja recognized the ult and he waited, which is what saved Vulcan essentially. Naja barely missed his sash though, so that was just, Vulcan pathed really well for that. The movement speed boost from the ult really probably helped him in that particular regard, but just the movement speed boost alone can make such a big difference, and it's always worth ulting someone in danger, even if you're not expecting them to die, just so they can get out of danger a little bit faster. It really depends on the situation. But don't be afraid of ulting someone who maybe isn't quite as close to death as you would think they would need, because they get a movement speed boost for that, and enemies are kind of afraid of attacking them because they don't want to trigger the ults. It's really irrational and psychologically fascinating, but it absolutely works wonders. Alright, he's going to go pretty aggressive on this, so we're going to bring him right into this. I aimed that wrong. That was a bad shot. And I'm also body blocking my poor Vulcan. Now, another rather huge benefit of Stone of Gaia, and I didn't mention this earlier because I got distracted by talking about other things, is not only is its passive, consider its passive for a second here, freeze frame this if you really need to, but you get extra health back if somebody pops you up into the air. Obviously, Sobek has that capability, but Naja's ult counts for that as well. Fun fact. So, and also, the knockback from, the knockback from Anher's spear also triggers this. I'm gonna die here. No, I'm not. Sobek just saved my life, quite literally. Well, Sobek and, Nemesis. But when Sobek tail whipped me and popped me into the air, boom, Stone of Gaia activated, my healing came back. Even the ring wasn't going to be able to kill me at that point. Now, I build reinforced shoes on Khepri. Again, there's that element of... I'm going to build some mana potions while I'm here, actually. There's that element of health, obviously. It's not much, it's only 150, but the passive protections also can really help, especially in the current meta that's really high up on penetration. Early on, I also built Stone of Gaia, so I do want the shoes to kind of bolster my protections a little bit more in terms of what I would normally have. Normally would be building some form of protection. Sovereignty is very popular. I'll be building Sovereignty next. They do have 3 physicals, so Sovereignty is going to be my next item here. But that is a very popular choice. I did build the Stone of Gaia because I knew it would be really useful. And you can see it really paying dividends for me. The fact that Chang'e is missing is somewhat concerning. Okay, there she is. Alright. I was wondering if she was rotating. Yeah, see how far up on her is. It does look like he's forcing these fights. We're just going to ult him. And we're just going to bring him back here. And Naja is probably upset. I know I would be if I was Naja. That's just very unfortunate. Now, I put that ward there because Naja is fairly fond of popping in and out from, well, not specifically our side, but he is popping in and out frequently out of mid lane, so I do want to keep an eye on that. This is fairly standard behavior for... Okay, this is Sobek dead. Is this Sobek dead? Yeah, I think it is. Yep. Now, something else that you should really be aware of with Khepri, especially if you're facing Khepri, is that the Rising Dawn ability, which is that glowing ball, that reduces any victim's physical protections. So when I hit Sobek with that, he was taking more damage from the tower doing physical damage, of course. So, in terms of tower defense, Khepri is a very strong contender for very excellent tower defense, and one of the few gods I'll build... What is it called? Emperor's Armor, whatever that is? Hold on, I can't remember what it's called. Emperor's Armor, yeah. It's one of the few gods that I will build Emperor's Armor on that really can make that work really well. I totally whiffed that. That was very unfortunate. But yeah, he's one of the few supports I will build Emperor's Armor on, because I know for a fact that I can boost the amount of damage that tower is doing to the enemy and make it actually potentially work really well. Oh, hello on her. You're not supposed to be here. That's somewhat problematic. Okay, we're gonna get out of here. Oh, Nemesis goes in. Good pickup, good pickup. I'm not sure I can save you, but I can try. What are we doing here? Bring it on, Sobek. Come on. Yoink me. Come on. Bring it on. Let's go. Alright, he made a bold move at the very least. It didn't mean much, but he tried. Okay, that's what he was waiting for. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. I did not have time to ult her. Oh, here's Guan Yu. Okay. Can we save this? And here's Achilles. I'm not sure what we're doing here. This is a terrible fight. We're gonna die. Now, the problem here is that Achilles has an execute, which means that he'll just basically blitz by the damage output. He'll just ignore the... Oh, my goodness. My ult. And the execute does that. No, I'm not going to let you. Get out of here. Physically body block. This is the craziest fight I've seen in a long time. Okay. That body block, though. That's right, Achilles. Get out of my face. Izanami, shoot him. Good, good. We have some protection reduction from Guan Yu. That's good. Vulcan is in trouble, but I'm not sure he necessarily needs me yet. Oh, that's so that hits like a truck. Never mind. What is he building? He's just got shoes for damage output. Alright. Oh, he just threw that away. Okay, there he goes. See, the reason why I can stay in this fight so long is Stone of Gaia. Straight up. I don't know what we're doing here. Can somebody please tell me what exactly the plan here is? We're fighting here for no reason. We have no objective here. We're not taking anything. We're not doing anything useful with this fight. We're just basically... And left lane is getting taken in a major way. We're losing indirectly here. Look at left lane. Like, that tower is going down, and no one's doing anything about it because Izanami's over here. I don't blame her for being over here. Honor came over here first. She's supposed to be here. That's fine. But this fight is, in total, providing us losses. We are losing in the long term with that fight. That was not good. We didn't need that at all. I also whiffed that. That would have been really nice if I hit that, and you're going to aggress onto me, even though I have full health, and you're healing me? Alright. Sobek's wasting his time. I don't have mana. I do need to fall back. Give me a second, Vulcan. Vulcan. Vulcan, my guy. Okay. And now I'm dead. Yeah. I kind of went a little aggressive on that rescue Vulcan. I probably didn't need... Actually, I'm pretty sure I didn't need to go that aggressive on that rescue, but I did anyways. I was hoping Vulcan could make something out of it. He didn't. I don't blame him. The appearance... I should not have done that. I'm going to be really honest. I went too aggressive on that. I should not have done that at all. That was entirely on me. No, we're not going to go with this. We're actually going to go with the Ankh for the anti-healing. Where'd it go? There it is. But yeah, I went way too aggressive on that. I should have just shelled Vulcan, walked away. I deserved that death because that was an error in judgment on my part. Shouldn't have done that. Knowing Sobek was there with the mana to pull me back like that, even with Stone of Gaia, I was not likely to get out of that alive, and I obviously did not. But even before knowing what the outcome would be, the probability of me getting out of that alive was not good. So, I should not have done that. Terrible, terrible decision. Put too much stock in Vulcans. What are you doing? Oh, I missed that. And Izanami's over here again. I think I accidentally body blocked him. Nope. Oh, you beatsed that. Okay, you wanted that kill. Oh, he got both of them too. Nice. Nice dub.
Your feats are legendary.
Yeah, okay. Okay, what are we doing here? I think we can win this fight. It's a 3v2. There you go. There you go. Grab him up really quick. Now, I want to explain my boosting of my abilities, my specific leveling up pattern here. You'll notice the dots below each ability to indicate if you are unfamiliar with the game. I leveled up Rising Dawn for two specific reasons. No, enemies are incoming. Do not attack the Gold Fury. That is a terrible... We lost our opportunity to get the Gold Fury a couple of seconds ago. That's not a good idea. I need more magic protections. I'm going to go for Pestilence. Because that provides anti-healing as well. Anyways, I did Rising Dawn first for two reasons. One, it does the most damage out of Khepri's abilities, so for that specific reason, early game at the very least, it still has respectable enough levels. Actually, it doesn't really. They changed it. I forgot. But the actual protection reductions is pretty nice. The damage mitigation is really nice. The damage mitigation, by the way, affecting the allies that are hit by it, so that is very nice. Now, they recently buffed that, by the way. That used to only increase allies' physical protections, which was somewhat limiting. Now, it just decreases all damage that allies are taking. So even in a situation where you're not hitting enemies with it, that still is really quite potent. But it is the second two reasons. I mean, it used to be the most damaging ability he had, and in some contexts with the right items, it still can be. That really depends on what you're building. It still can carry off as one of his more damaging abilities. But ultimately, you do have that benefit of the damage mitigation, the decreased protections on the enemies, which tends to very much help in the middle, especially with wave clearing. That really helps the waves, your wave win fights that maybe it wouldn't normally. So that's a fairly good benefit. I was going over there to gank on her, but he left, so that was a waste of my time. I should have stayed over here in mid. So that's generally why as well. Just the impressive amounts of wave clear aid that it can provide it's quite useful. The second one I boost up is Abduct, and that's primarily because the increased protections you get while using it. When you're grabbing someone like this, as I stated earlier, you're really exposing yourself to a large quantity of potential damage, and obviously that's not necessarily always what you want. So to have the increased protections while you're using that ability is quite helpful, and that really can keep you alive in situations where you might not normally. Can we please kill on her? He's definitely a problem child. See, there we go. So, yes, ultimately speaking, that is the reason why I do that, because the root doesn't gain a huge amount of benefits. It gets slightly longer 0.1 second is not that big of a deal, so generally speaking, it's the last one that I increased just because it's so little return. Oh, sure, it does some damage, but you're a support most of the time, so that doesn't really make a difference. If I were to play Khepri in the solo lane, I would do Abduct first because it hits like a steam engine all at once, and you're literally less concerned about wave clearing, at least with jungle. I would say probably... but if you're a solo lane, you would still want Abduct, but if you're a jungle, you don't want Abduct. Now notice I cancelled it a little early there, because I was about to pull Naja out of Vulcan's ult, so I had to cancel it a little early to make sure he stayed in the ult. I want to... I missed him barely. Okay, I gotta get out of this fight. I am no longer in a condition where I can support this. Yeah, I just gotta get out of here. If I stay any longer, I'm gonna die for absolutely no reason. I never had the opportunity to use this, so... The sub is the almost... Well, I could have thrown it down a little earlier in the jungle when I was wandering uselessly through the jungle. So... yeah, ultimately that's why I generally choose that particular pattern. I mean, even considering that it's not quite the most damaging ability, Rising Dawn is still very respectable. 26 damage every 0.3 seconds. It lasts for 3 seconds, so it's triggering roughly 9 times, which is 9 times 26, which of course is going to be 200, and it's going to be about 225, which isn't that far off from Abduct. Roughly 225. Let me calculate that really quick. 234, so I was pretty close. I was only off by 6, actually. No, 9. Keep it going, Guan. I got shell. And Abduct. Alright, now we're gonna get out of here because they're pressing really hard here. Kill him, kill him, kill him. Thank you. Alright, good. I've hit some people with that. Good. I think we can probably straight take this, yeah. Excellent. No, not yet. We don't need to retreat quite yet. I want to lure them in. I knew he was going to do that too. I knew. He telegraphed that really badly. You could see it in his eyes. And I knew it was up by then because as far as I knew, he hadn't used it recently. Also, note how much HP I've regenerated over time. This is a combination of the HP 5 from Sovereignty and Stone of Gaia, and just the huge gains from Stone of Gaia you get in general. It's just an absolutely disgusting item on Khepri. Don't keep tanking the... My goodness, Squan. I mean, you can win this fight with me present. Okay, we need to... No. We need to leave this alone. We need to leave this alone. We have the Gold Fury, which is great. But here's Chang'e. We don't need this fight. We don't win that with Chang'e there. I can keep Achilles from killing Guan Yu, but Chang'e can keep Achilles from dying and prevent us from healing as well, or reduce our healing at the very least. So at this point, I've got a pretty good build here. So my next move, let me see, what do I want next? What would be best? Trying to decide what the move would be. Is on her building crits? He is. Okay, Naja is also going to have crits as well, so we're going to just go ahead and go into spectral armor here. Just to reduce the amount of damage we're taking from these critical attacks. Crits are very big right now. We'll get that, and then we'll boost up Tainted Steel, and then I'm not sure what I'm going to replace my boots with. That's going to be an interesting question. I'm not sure yet. You kind of have to play it a little bit by ear. When you see the enemy team comp, there's some things you're just going to know you're going to be building, and some things you're just going to be like, well, it just depends on how it's going. Like, Anher's been doing pretty well overall, so I know his crit damage is going to be a threat. I'm alone here. I don't need this. Notice how much I healed from Stone of Gaia. Again, 3 different enemies can trigger that ability, so it will trigger pretty frequently. I'm just trying to protect this tower. I whiffed that really bad. Death Perception is not present. Thank you. In case we were wondering, I have none. Oh, right, great. Okay, that's on her. Probably Achilles over there. Yeah, there's Achilles. I'm gonna come in from behind. Get out of here, Chang'e. I was just barely shy on that. Okay. I'm not gonna bother ulting her because he can just go through it. We're gonna shell you. Okay. I'm just gonna die then. Wow. That is why I need special armor. All that crit damage. 2,500 basic attack damage on her. That's mostly crits. That's mostly from his crits. I just punched my mic there, so if you just heard a weird noise, I apologize. That was me slugging my mic. I need special armor. Vulcan, you don't need help. Vulcan, you don't need help. You're a fine guy. This Izanami is very aggressive. Not necessarily a bad way to play, but she theoretically had backup. I can't really fully blame her for being aggressive at that point. I mean, Vulcan won, you were still alive, she was outnumbered, but they were busy dealing with Naja, so I can understand also why they fell back. It didn't look like a good fight, we weren't fighting for anything. They took Fire Giant with that because they had the numbers. They had 4 people there, we only had 2. At this point, we're going to have to basically play defensively, try to lure them into a tower and kill them. Probably not a tier 1, I don't think that's going to work at this point. They're going to take, I think, right tower. I'm going to go over there and see if I can prevent that, but I'm not really optimistic about my chances of doing so. I think we're going to have to make a stand at the tier 2 tower on the right-hand side here. I don't think I'm going to even... Nah, there's no way. Okay. Are they pressing for second? Yeah, they are. Alright. I'm going to make a call to arms here. He tried. I am alone here. Okay. Alright. Call to arms failed completely. You know, that's alright. You gotta expect that sometimes. I don't actually know. I wasn't able to focus on specifically what Vulcan and Nemesis were doing. I've got no clue. Personally, so whatever on that one. Also, I believe he's got Executioner, which is somewhat problematic. Yeah, he does. Okay, he's actually got Executioner, which is obviously quite damaging to protection setups. But, you know, once I get Spectral Armor, that should really help. It should help a lot. And I'm going to have to make a couple of other adjustments just to kind of get around that as well. I'll probably build Tainted Breastplate as well, get a little bit more physical protections in there. The magical power I'm really not concerned about. It's the anti-healing and the physical protections I want there. And the reason why I'm going pretty hardcore on the physical protections is because if you look at their team comp, they only have 2 magic damage sources, Chang'e and Sobek. Now, Sobek, as a Guardian, doesn't hit that hard. He has not built damage at all. He's got 20 out of Reinforced Shoes, but otherwise he's not building, and he hasn't got any power. He's just doing his flat damage, and while Sobek's flat damage is pretty good, I'll give you that. It's not so high that I necessarily need to be building around it. I cannot defend this by myself. They're not going to come this way fast enough. They're just going to take that straight up. Is Chang'e... It's not building. He's building some mild protections. Okay. He's kind of building hybrid. Oh, that was a good body block. Hello. Nope. Can we kill Guan Yi? Can we kill Naja here? Yeah, we can kill Naja here. He's dead. Did we kill Chang'e? We did kill Chang'e, okay. So their main sources of healing are, well, some of the bigger healing people are gone now. Vulcan should not be trying to 1v1 on her. That is a bad matchup. Don't do it to Vulcan. There we go. We can catch up to him and we can kill him. Yeah, flank this guy. Flank this guy. Yeah, there you go. Good play, Nemesis. Good use of the shield. Good use of the shield. Oh, he ulted to get out. Alright, I'll just tank this then. It's fine. Yeah, What do you think we're doing, guy? Oh, you're talking about the Phoenix. Okay, that's fair enough. Okay. Yeah. Once we take this, we need to retreat. No, that's too early. You're calling too early. Yeah, we don't need this fight. We don't want this fight. We're not in good enough condition. Half of our team is half dead. And they're all about to come out fresh. I'm not sure we have time for the Gold Fury, but I think I'm going to get outvoted for this. No, no, we can't take that. They're all right there. This is bad. This is bad. I'm not helping him because I think this is a good idea. I'm helping him because if I don't, he's going to complain. We need to leave it. We need to leave it alone. You know, it's a nice to have, it's not a need to have. Just walk away, one. I'm going to let you clear that. You don't need me for that. Oh, wait, hold on. I didn't react fast enough. That's okay, that's okay. We get our special armor, we start saving our money for the tainted breastplate. We don't need that much magic protection. She's got 20% here. She's got flat 10 there. We really don't need that much magic protections to deal with Chang'e. We might go for the other one anyways, though, just because of its slightly better passive. Stealing their healing is never a bad thing. Alright, need to move over there faster.
On my way.
Okay, so Sopek is in our back line, which is not good. Oh, they're going for fire. That's interesting. Can we stop them from doing that? Alright, no. At least we killed on her right afterwards, though. Alright, so this is kind of a trait here. I was too slow on that ult. I should have ulted her. I'm gonna die. But I want to try and... Okay. I'm gonna have to ult myself. Not ideal situation, but... Ah! The Uno reverse. It's not good enough. Not quite good enough. Let me see. That is a question. I think ultimately I'll want the Tainted Breastplate. I think it's gonna pull more weight here, especially to deal with Anher's Executioner. I think that, yeah, we have the Void Shield as well, which is gonna be somewhat problematic. Combos really well with Executioner. We have Heartseeker as well. Okay, didn't see that initially. Alright. But that's fine. That's fine. Now I gotta figure out exactly what I want to build next. Do I want to get more protections? What do I want to do with this? I might go Pridwin, just for the cooldown reductions and the slight increase in protections. And the passive is pretty nice as well. Even if I'm ulting somebody else, I do get a little bit of a shield boost, and maybe I can hit somebody for some small amount of damage. So I'll probably go with Pridwin, mostly for that cooldown and that nifty little passive. Because right now, that's what I need most, is some really nice cooldown, and it doesn't hurt to have a little bit more of each protection either. It doesn't have HP gain, but considering that Naja is building Heartseeker, I don't want to go too overboard on the HP idea here. You're gonna jump. You missed, which is all I needed you to do. There we go. And then you're just dead. Okay, so we're going to push up middle lane specifically because of the fire minions. We want to try to keep this under control. So we're going to actually be pushing up mid lane so that way we can prevent that. If you're wondering why we're pushing up middle lane specifically, that's why. We're trying to prevent the fire minions from getting out of hand. Give our Phoenix time to recover. Yeah. Can you wait a second, please? We want to at least get this tower here. Maybe the Phoenix. Balance it out. Not, Nemesis, I don't need to be tanking this right now. We can take this. We can kill him. No, don't retreat middle lane. We're fine. We're perfectly fine here. Nemesis, what are you doing? Nemesis, don't leave us. Nemesis, duel him. You were winning that duel. Izanami, you need to go. We cannot win this fight. We are surrounded. You just don't know it yet. Would you grab? Oh, okay. Go. Good, good. Oh, I missed that. I needed to hit that. Yeah, I should have hit that. She juked that really well. That was a good play. I need to upgrade that pretty soon. I'm dead here. No, wait. Yeah. That was a good catch by the Naja. Alright. Now, we're not going to sell this yet for the elixir of speed because we'll lose that quite nifty little passive there. It doesn't mean a whole lot, but it can make a difference. So we're going to wait on this until we actually have the money we need. Now, the elixir of speed costs 1,500. This sells for, I believe, 1,000, 1,032. Yep. So we're going to wait until we have, I would say, 15 by 24, so that's 39, less 1,000, so 29. 2,900 gold is roughly when we're going to want to sell that. Okay, so they're winning that fight. They just took out 2. Okay, good. Chang'e dying is a pretty big deal. We need to take out on her. He hits like a steam engine. Okay, Sobek is a good take, though. I'm not sure they're going to be able to keep up with on her. Guan Yu's ult is down. And they're all afraid of getting hit by on her's shots. That was a good ult by Nemesis, but I don't think it's enough. Yeah, she took too long. Oh, she timed that wrong. The Onher is very good. The Onher is very good. Shout out to the Onher. He's very impressive as a player. That's some good gameplay. Honestly. Okay, that's... And I'm not going to be able to get over there fast enough. I need to push this up at least until the fire minions stop coming. I don't know what Izanami's doing up there that far up by herself. She's going to get killed. I can't afford to... No. No, he went back to base. Oh, he did not. Excuse me? Hold on, though. Somebody's got to do this with the minions here. I don't think Honor is going to actually try to fight you, Vulcan. I think he's going to just bail. Okay, so those are regular minions up there, so I can actually leave the lane now. Okay, let's see if we can gank on her over here. You're fine, you're fine. You're a little paranoid, though. You didn't need to use, Magus there.
If only they followed in your
There we go. My goodness. Alright, so the fact that Izanami was somehow able to successfully take the Phoenix before getting killed is fairly impressive. Yeah, you're not taking this. No. I'm not too concerned about you two right now. I have special armor, so I really don't care that much. Guan Yu's coming in, so this is going to be pretty spicy. Oh, no, it's not. This is going to be really bad. Goodbye. Oh, good play. Good play, Naja. Alright, so we're going to have the funding, I think, to get the everything we need. No, this isn't consumables. There we go. And Pridwin. We'll spectate what's going on here. Guan Yu, what are you doing? Alright, so what does Naja have? It was, okay, probably just the Heartseeker. That's probably what ultimately killed me. Okay, that's fine. I'll have the money I need for Pridwin by the time I respawn, so that's alright. What happened to Nemesis? I didn't pay quite enough attention. Alright, that's good. Naja has no mana, so he shouldn't even be there in all honesty. Unless he's got massive MP5. I don't think he does. Not really. He's got some from Heartseeker. Nah, Izanami's dead. Guaranteed. The Vulcan dying is... I'm sorry, the Sobek dying is pretty big. There goes Chang'e, that's good. Achilles is fairly ambitious. Do I stop this? Yeah, probably. sand sleeve going. Alright, yep. Now, unfortunately, this is a really bad matchup for Khepri, again, because of his ult. I forgot to buy pretty... So, well, I'm right here, so we can just go back really quick and do that. Not really a big deal. Get that delicious cooldown that I desperately need. There we go. Okay, so we have that. So that puts us in a much better position. We're almost maxed on physical protections quite unnecessarily, but... Let's see here. Okay, yep. Good. Haha, I got him with my Pridwin. No, we kill him. We kill him here. He doesn't get out. I missed that, but that's okay. Oh, okay, he might actually get out with that blink. Never mind. Nice. Okay, good. Right lane, you say? I can see why you would say that. They're all over there, so okay, she's just gonna go for it. This Izanami is built different. She's just dead. Suicide run. Alright. That was a good play by the Naja. He timed that really well. I'm dead here? Yeah. We were too aggressive with that. That last fight we didn't win well enough to allow us to do that. And this is the real downside of playing the support role. As support, you kind of just have to follow along with what your team is doing. So if your team decides to do something stupid, you're probably going to suffer for it. So, and I can understand why they went for that, why that call was made. We didn't have the resources available. We'd just come out of a tough fight. Nemesis and I weren't at top. Izanami went in way too early. She should have waited for me. And it's not like she couldn't have waited for me. I was right at speed, at their speed. So I was pretty close by. She could have waited. And the fact that she didn't wait is why she died there. So overall, it was just very uncoordinated. I understand what she was trying to do, but it just was not a great idea. Knowing Chang'e is there, knowing she has a stun available, just not really great. Nemesis is doing really well. Izanami's struggling a little bit. I obviously have no kills, but I'm supporting, I'm not supposed to. And Vulcan is having a little bit of trouble. But then, I mean, Vulcan versus Naja, Vulcan versus Sobek, his straight line retreat, and I use that term loosely, does put Vulcan in somewhat of an awkward position versus those two specifically. I'm here. Like, don't worry about it. Good escape, good escape. Alright, that's just unnecessary. Oh, you're actually... Okay, you're going full in on this. Okay. Yeah, I mean, with on her there, this is going to be ugly. I whiffed. He expertly sidestepped that, by the way. That was a really nice sidestep. Okay, good. The Izanami ambush worked out surprisingly well. That was a problem. I told myself to get out alive. Make sure he gets out. Nice job, nice job. Somebody help. Thank you. Wow. I'll defend. Somebody's got to keep these enemies off here. This is going to get really ugly. Yeah, the minions wiped that out. Me alone was not enough to save that. We may have lost, but my gameplay with Khepri went really well overall. Except for that stupid decision I made in the early game there with Vulcan saving. That was unfortunate. That was me. That was 100% me. The rest of this was a combination of circumstance, me, some bad calls, with some understandable yet very unfortunate calls. I'm going to give everyone a teamwork here. I understand why a lot of these people played the way they did. And why some of the decisions made were made. No one was, like, blatantly stupid. The Izanami I will call out for being a little too aggressive. She overall broke even, which is fine. She did okay. A little too aggressive, though. The Vulcan just had an unfortunate matchup. I mean, he doesn't really have an escape, and when you're going up against Naja on her, that's a bit of a problem. So Vulcan just has a bit of a hard time against what the enemy team had presented to them. The Nemesis did really well, despite technically having a bad matchup. Anything that basically knocks back, or anything that would normally trigger Stone of Gaia, essentially, is going to remove Nemesis's shield. So the fact that she did as well as she did, despite what would be considered a bad matchup, is very impressive. And the Guan Yu, he did what he needed to. He did his best. I understand why a lot of these people built the way they did. That's fine. I don't quite agree with Rod of Tahuti on Vulcan, considering how he plays. I would have preferred to see something more along the lines of maybe, what do you call that? I can't remember the item. Doom Orb, but he already has Doom Orb. I mean, in that case, I would have just gone with, no, I suppose that would have been his best option given the circumstances, all things considered. Yeah, I can see why he built that. Although he's overcapping on penetration, actually. He's got 20% from Charon's coin. He's got 10% from this, and he's got 10% from this, plus an additional 10% from the passive of this. I'm sorry, this is 20%, pardon me. So he's overcapping by 10 to 20%, depending on whether or not Obsidian Shard is activating. So he did overcap on that. Either he should have dropped Obsidian Shard, or he should have dropped Rod of Tahuti. I mean, I personally am not a big fan of Rod of Tahuti on Vulcan. I don't think he can use the basic attack portion of that deal as much. He didn't really need the MP5 either. Yes, it's 140 magic power, but that's only a difference of 60 power, which, well, depending on what else you build. You know what really would have been good with Vulcan, and actually thinking about it, what he should have built instead of Rod of Tahuti would be Spear the Magus. It has some lifesteal, which would have helped him survive. It's got that really nifty passive. Did anyone build Spear the Magus? No one built Spear the Magus. Okay. But Spear the Magus has magical lifesteal. It has 110 power, so he only would have lost 30 power, which isn't that bad. It has 10 or 15 flat penetration, and anybody that Vulcan hits with a damaging ability, which is everything he does, except for the turret, technically, but anything he hits with a damaging ability takes 7.5% increased damage, so it's a really nice ability to throw out there and have some increased damage. So I would have preferred him use Spear the Magus instead of Rod of Tahuti. It also would have worked really well because he has all this percentage penetration from Charon's Coin, Obsidian Shard. Even though he wouldn't need the passive for Obsidian Shard, at the very least he would have max pen, and the flat 10 would have been really nice for any enemies that didn't really have that much protections. For example, on her, I believe, winds up with 45-ish or so magic protections at the end of the game because he's a hunter. Most hunters have, I believe it's actually specifically 48 magic protections. Reducing that by 40% is just reducing it by 16, so the flat 10 or 15 that Spear the Magus would have offered would have been a huge boost on that, bringing it down to, like, 22. It would have been bringing it down to 22, which would have been really nice. As for the enemy, the Chang'e building Staff of Mirrodin is really good. Her build was actually pretty good overall. She probably built Soul Reaver specifically for Guan Yu and I, possibly even Nemesis. The fact that Nemesis built Spectral Armor impresses me a lot. Good play there. Magi's Cloak, that's to help in those situations where she gets stunned or whatever and the shield goes down, so I understand that. That's a good pick. For Izanami, I understand why she built this. It's not bad. I personally prefer Death Scythe. That's a personal preference, but this is pretty good too. Let me see. Guan Yu's build is fine. I don't see any particular issue there. That's alright. He did really well overall. I mean, both teams played pretty well overall. Sobek was, I think, a little too aggressive sometimes. But I think what the actual issue was not so much that he was too aggressive. I think the actual issue with Sobek was that he made a move and expected his team to back him up, and they didn't, because it wasn't necessarily either because they didn't feel it was as good of a move as he did, or as they did, or maybe they just weren't paying attention. Either one is possible. The Achilles I will shout out as not having done that well. Not really his fault, although considering that he's a pretty good matchup against Khepri, it is fairly odd that he did not do that well, and I think it mostly comes down to the fact that he did not have any real form of penetration. He had no penetration here. Diddly squat. And even though he's solo, he should still have had at least some penetration, so the fact that he didn't is most likely the reason why he did not perform that well. He wasn't able to inflict the kinds of damage he needed because he couldn't punch through people's protections, especially considering half of our team built physical protections, including Nemesis, so he just wasn't really hitting for that much. The Naja, interestingly enough, did build around that. They had 15% reduction here. They had the 10% pen on Heartseeker. They had the flat 10 on Jotuns. That was pretty good. Fantastic there. On her, percent from Executioner. You've got some flat from Aussie. You've got some extra percentage from Wind Demon. Great build here. That worked out really well for him. He built that really smart. And the Aussie plus the Devourer's Gauntlet with Deathbringer and Wind Demon for some extra critical. Very good play. That's actually pretty fantastic. Personally, I would have, if I were him, I would have used Poison Star because that would have slowed down enemies in his Obelisk even more, which might have given him more opportunities to get more kills. Possibly. It's just something that, I mean, Wind Demon is still a very strong choice for his build, but I think Poison Star might have been a little bit better for him, especially since Vulcan really has no way of getting out of the, his Obelisk Sands. So, or if the enemy is, slapped up against it, although then Wind Demon would be more effective in that particular circumstance. The choice of Compassion is interesting here, considering he didn't really emphasize magic protections that much. Also, why Spirit Robe? I do question his choice of Spirit Robe, and primarily because we don't have a lot of hard CC. We don't have a lot of hard crowd control. Nemesis only has slows. Izanami only has slows. She has a silence, but that's on her ultimate, so it doesn't come out that often. Guan Yu has a stun also on his ultimate, so again, it doesn't happen that often. Vulcan has a pop-up. I have a pull and a root, or I have a root silence, technically speaking. But there's not a whole lot that was going to trigger Spirit Robe's passive here, so I do question this decision. I don't think Spirit Robe was the move here. Probably hurt his late game, because from the looks of it, he built that last year, replaced his shoes with it. So that was the last thing he built. I do disagree with that. I don't think that was the optimal thing to build there. The fact that Naja built Mantle of Discord, I appreciate. What Mantle of Discord did for Naja here was allow him to stun someone when he was near death pretty cleanly. Cooldown reduction, of course. If I were to grab him and he started to almost, if he got onto the verge of death, I get stunned, he's released. As a result of me being stunned, he gets out of there. Or possibly can heal using his second ability. That was a good choice here, considering the circumstances. Like I said, a lot of these players played very well. A couple of individual questionable choices. Like I said, this is a matter of personal preference. But overall, and I do disagree with the Spirit Robe. I don't think that was a great choice. And Achilles did need some penetration. That was Achilles' problem. He needed some penetration. This was probably something he just grabbed. He was probably on his way to Mantle of Discord, in all honesty, but it felt like he didn't have the time or the money for it, maybe. This is kind of what I would see here, because Spirit Robe was definitely not the choice. But I'm wondering if he was just kind of rushing into build whatever. I don't know. But, it worked out, ultimately, but a little bit of an interesting choice there in items. Would I have changed my build? Nah, not really. I built the best I could, considering the circumstances. The Tainted Breastplate was a pretty good choice, given what I had here. Didn't really need the magical power, but that's fine. Stone of Gaia, as you could see throughout that match, worked out really well for me. Towards the late game, when Chang'e was able to reduce healing, it became a little bit less useful, but still, it pulled its weight pretty consistently throughout the match. Pridwin was the best choice I had for cooldowns at that time. I could have built more I could have built Breastplate of Valor, but I had such high physical protections anyways. I wanted to balance that out with a little bit more magic. Sovereignty, of course, the enemy had 3 physical damage types, and this is something else that probably really hurt Achilles' ability to deal damage without penetration. Not only does he have no penetration by himself, he's basically relying on Naja's Void Shield and on his Executioner, which is a bit risky, but I was increasing physical protections even more, so that's something else that really hurt Achilles throughout that match. Pestilence, I usually buy on Khepri just because it's one of the few HP increasing magical protection items that Khepri can almost always use. And obviously, with the amount of self-healing they had and Chang'e, I needed extra anti-healing beyond the Tainted Steel, obviously, which I had. And of course, Spectral Armor. They had so much critting on her and Naja alone. We're the representatives of crit, but they were critting often enough where Spectral Armor was the move here. So, that's how I'm fine with how this all turned out. It was a really great game. Everyone played pretty well. A couple of errors on each side. I had some unwise decisions. Our team, basically the reason why we lost, just to kind of cap off the video, is our team made risky decisions that could have worked well given the circumstances, but were either made with too little information or with too much aggression. There were a couple of call-outs there that I understand why they were made, but we didn't have the information to justify making that call then. Which is unfortunate. Either it was going to work or it wasn't going to work, and it just didn't happen to work this time. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. We basically just played high risk, high reward, and we just didn't get the reward, basically. So that's how we lost. Both teams played quite well otherwise, though. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial of Khepri. I don't know how many videos I'm going to make specifically of Khepri. Probably more than you would expect. I'll probably make 5 to 7, I think. Would be a good number of Khepri videos. Whether or not they're all a conquest or if I disperse this out to other modes, I'm not sure. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or whatever, leave it down in the comments below. I'll read it and respond as best as I can. Thank you all very much for joining me. If you like this, please like and subscribe. And, yeah, have a great 24 hours.